Okay, so today what I wanted to do was kind of go over any kind of new developments in terms of Resident Evil information and other horror game information that has been kind of circulating in the past few days and a few weeks. There's been a lot. I have missed some of it initially, but there's been a lot going on. So I do kind of want to post an update video on what's new, what you may have missed or what you may have seen already, and just kind of go into it a little bit more. And then at the end, we're going to go over some new content that's going to the channel over the next few weeks. So without any further ado, let's just jump into the information we have as of late. So let's start with Resident Evil Village. Resident Evil Village recently celebrated its first anniversary, which is a damn shock. I completely forgot it was already out for a year. Like, it's been insane to think that this game's been out for a year already, and I've played it to death, so I love the game a lot. There wasn't a mention of any DLC, but before the anniversary took place, there was a awards event, and Resident Evil did win a couple categories there. The developer himself obviously had a few words to say, thank you for the support on the game and the fans and stuff like that, and he did say a line that basically said, look forward to more Resident Evil Village in the future, which would kind of suggest that they're still working on the DLC, it's just not ready yet. So the future could literally mean anything. It could be next month, a few months time, or like 6 months down the line, like you do not know. But it's nice to know that in a sense he did acknowledge the fact that there is more Village coming. Next up is Resident Evil Reverse got rated again for Stadia, which is weird. This was around 2 weeks ago now, 2 or 3 weeks ago now, which is interesting because we haven't heard diddly squat from that game since it got delayed, basically indefinitely. Well, at least into this year. And it's been radio silent since then, but the rating being updated for a different platform is something probably of substance, and apparently with that there was a new release date leaked, or at least suggested, and that is, I believe, the July 10th kind of mark, which is literally a couple months away. People have also been saying that maybe that will be when the Village DLC releases. A lot of people are kind of thinking that Reverse will get its official release, and the DLC for Village will come out around the same time, just to kind of flesh out the game, and then obviously when people come back to Village, they'll have Reverse to play as well. It would make sense from a business standpoint. But yeah, I'm still looking forward to Reverse, I would say. I think I did play the beta way back when. I did have a good time with it. There is some issues, definitely, and it's not everyone's cup of tea, that's for sure. But I enjoyed it, so I am looking forward to seeing what they've done with it, if it's any different, or just playing it again in general. So July is something to look forward to if it does indeed release. Next up, this is one that's been dividing quite a few people, and this is fairly recently as well. I think from the time of recording this video, it's only a few days old. But the Resident Evil Netflix TV show got its first couple teaser trailers, and it's a bit of a divide between people. I, for one, I think it visually looks really good. Like, I think that definitely the budget is higher than the movie, because the movie has some pretty bad CGI. I'm not saying the Netflix show is like top tier, but it does look a bit better. Definitely a bit more variation in monsters as well. There's big spiders, there's big worms, there's the dogs, the lickers, the zombies themselves, and that's pretty cool to see. I think this show, I think it will be okay. I really do think the Resident Evil name is just something they've slapped on to kind of get it to kind of be successful in a sense. Obviously there is Resident Evil things in it, but I do feel like maybe it was originally going to be something else, but they were like, you know what, make a Resident Evil show, that'll be good. But from what I've heard about it and how the series itself uses the previous games as its backstory, while the show isn't actually canon, it uses the previous game's backstory as its backstory. But then obviously any future games that release, so Resident Evil 9 for example, won't mention the show at all. So it's not canon, but the games previous to the show, so that's Village and below, have happened in the show's story. So that's weird, but it might be good. I'm not going to judge it until I've seen it. It's out in a few months anyway, so we'll see what happens. But let me know what you think about it. I know there's a lot of divide around it at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see what you guys think. And the last bit of Resident Evil news kind of is that Capcom have apparently planned to release a good amount of their bigger games before May or March next year, which could give us a window for the Resident Evil 4 remake. Obviously that's basically all but confirmed nowadays. It's coming, whether people wanted it or not, it is coming now. So that could be the window of when we're going to see that game between now and next May or next March. Or even a new Resident Evil game, Obviously there's the talk about the spin-off game, like the Revelations 3 game. That could be in that window, so we'll have to see. But they plan to release some big titles between now and then, so Resident Evil could definitely be one of them. Next up, and again this one is fairly recent, Silent Hill apparently got some leaked images that were taken down by Konami due to copyright purposes. That is kind of some proof that it may be something. I have seen the images, I'm not going to put them in the video because I do not want to get a strike on my channel if that is what they're doing, but you can find them online somewhere probably. I saw them on Twitter, so they're pretty easy to find. From what the images do show, it doesn't directly say it's a Silent Hill game. There's no like artwork on the pictures that says Silent Hill or anything like that. What they do show, it does make sense that it could be a Silent Hill game, but the information we have is obviously the images we've seen, and apparently it's going to be set in England, which is pretty cool. Again, we'll have to wait until there's any official announcement, but if that is what it was, very cool. Like, very, very cool. I always kind of think in the back of my mind that a new Silent Hill game is coming out. It's just a case of when and what it is. But maybe we're finally getting something new. And obviously Summer Games Fest is just around the corner, which is where some big games usually get announcements. I believe that's in June this year. So that could be something. Obviously E3 is cancelled this year, so it is just a Summer Games Fest until probably later in the year for like Gamescom and stuff. But maybe we're finally getting a Silent Hill game. Finally, after all this time. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. And that basically covers any kind of news as of late. Now I kind of want to go into what the channel is going to be making over the next like foreseeable future, I guess. So as always, Resident Evil is always going to be the primary. Whenever there is new news, whenever there is new information, new content, I'll be posting about it. But at the minute, I haven't been active on the channel because it's a very dry period right now for Resident Evil. There isn't a lot of new things, or at least of substance to cover. And I don't want to overdo it with stuff I always do because it'll get tedious for me and it's not really new stuff. So I'm going to be kind of jumping into other games for a bit until there's some new kind of information. In terms of what the games will be, Evil Dead the game came out yesterday at the time of recording this, and that game is a blast. If you haven't played it already, definitely check it out. It's a lot of fun with your friends as well. I might stream it just for a laugh, and if anyone has the game in stream, feel free to join. So I'll be playing that a lot, maybe making videos on that and streaming that. There's a game coming out soon called The Quarry. Now The Quarry is basically Until Dawn, but it's like a new version of it, where it's like a story game that you play and make the decisions that determine the ending. This game has apparently a lot of endings, and those games are always fun to play through, especially the first few times where you kind of do it your first time through and then you get your results and you try and do it again, but better or worse, just for a laugh. So I'll definitely be checking that out as well. Some of the games I still have that I'm yet to play, there's a game called Tormented Souls, which is very old school. It's like a camera angle game, very reminiscent of the old Silent Hill and Resident Evil games that I want to play as well. And then there's some other games that I'm just yet to cover on the channel that I've been putting off for some time. Just to give some examples, Back 4 Blood, I want to make more on that. I do quite like that game. Not as good as Left 4 Dead, but still a fun game. Alien Isolation, the Dead Rising series, you know, stuff like that. I want to throw more into the channel that fits around Resident Evil, so it's not too separate. And obviously keeping Resident Evil the primary, so whenever there is new stuff, jumping on it immediately. So that's kind of where I'm at. I know there's been a delay in videos, but it's just been because of the lack of Resident Evil stuff. I've been pretty demotivated again. But I think I'm kind of deciding now to do other games while RE is on its downtime. So yeah, look forward to that. But that about does it for the video. If there is any other games you want to see me cover that are kind of in the horror genre or survival horror genre, do let me know, because I'm open to ideas. I am open to ideas. So if there's any game series out there you really like that you want to see me play or cover, let me know. Stream wise, either I'll be streaming at the time of this video going up or soon around, or I'll be streaming tomorrow around this time as well. I think I'm going to jump on the Evil Dead. It'll be more of a chilled out stream, so by all means come and hang out. You can talk about Resident Evil to me if you want to. You can talk about anything. I do not mind. To be honest, with any stream I do, you can talk about whatever you want to me. Like I don't mind. Unless I'm doing like a challenge run, in which case I'll be kind of focused on it. But chill stream this weekend. Catch up with you all. Have a hangout for a bit. Should be fun. And then over the next few weeks, you'll start to see more content coming to the channel around different games. And then again, when Resident Evil does make its triumphant return, which I can kind of sense will be soon, probably the next month or so, we'll be back on that. So thank you all for coming by. Thank you all for waiting for the content to be released. And to all the new people that have joined the channel, hello. I'm not a dead channel. I just took a break and I'm still kind of easing back into it. So I am coming back. Slowly but surely, I'll be back before you know it. So thank you all for watching. Leave your thoughts on any of the topics discussed today in the comments. And I'll catch you all tomorrow in my live stream where we're going to be doing the Evil Dead game. So be sure to stop by for that, and it should be a good time. So see you all then. Have a good weekend, and I'll speak to you all soon.